And see, this is the level of incompetence that I keep talking about. Workplace NL states on their website that they are under the authority of the Act, the WHSC Act 2022, and the one prior to that. So, underneath that Act, it says Section 72B is that the intent of the Act is to provide services to injured workers and their dependents. That's it. Doesn't matter what else is in that act. It has to serve injured workers and their dependents. So, if you're actually under the authority of the act, then how did you guys manage to list promoting workplace health and safety in order to prevent and reduce workplace injury and illness? Because that is long before someone gets injured. That's before the injury happens. So, again, don't tell me that you guys are competent in the law. Don't tell me that your lawyers are competent in the law, because a competent lawyer and a competent employees of that act would know that you are not allowed to promote workplace health and safety in order to prevent and reduce workplace injury and illness underneath the authority of that act. You would be allowed to facilitate injured workers' recovery and early and safe return to work. Administers an employer classification and an assessment. So yeah, you do have to do that, because you do have to look at how much money the employer is paying out and assess them based on how much they would have to compensate for an injury. And ensures adequate financing for services through sound financial management. Well, that's Section 72C of the Act. So yeah, you do have to do that. But the services that are directly and only services that you are allowed to provide are for injured workers only. It is what it is. Why are you all continuing to pretend that you know this act, that you promote this act, that you are actually following the act, when this here clearly shows that you are not following the act? You have gone outside the act and added things to the act that are not supposed to be there ever, because they do not serve injured workers. Just because you put something somewhere doesn't mean it belongs. Did you guys not learn that in elementary school? Because I did. Which of these things do not belong? Do you remember that? Which of these things do not belong? So out of this list, you got to look at what services injured workers, because that's the intent of the act. That's how those questions would have been worded when you were in elementary school, primary school even. Probably more primary than elementary. So yes, striving to ensure injured workers receive the best care possible and benefits to which they are entitled, that's servicing the injured worker and their dependents. Facilitating injured workers' recovery and early and safe return to work. Does that belong? Yes, because it's serving injured workers. Administers an employer classification and assessment system. Yes, that does belong, because that's where the injury money comes from. Ensures adequate financing for services through sound financial management. That is covered under Section 72C. However, what does not belong? Oh my gosh, it's promoting workplace health and safety in order to prevent and reduce workplace injury and illness. Why? Because that's before an injury happens. That's an employer's job. That's another act altogether. It's not supposed to belong in here. I remember things from way back in primary, elementary. It's quite obvious that you guys, what is that game that used to be played? Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Yeah, well, I guess you guys probably shouldn't pass grade 5 by now. Did you even pass it to begin with, or did they just let you go ahead?